everybody. Another vlog here. This time we're going to be talking about Star Wars The Force Awakens.
That just came out around a little before Christmas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been in theaters for a long time. We're all big fans of Star Wars, so these two were at least excited to go see the movie. I was kind of reluctant. I went to go see it anyway.
I was a little hesitant myself, because I got burned before by the prequels.
Oh, well...
So I didn't know what to make of this one before I saw it.
Well, it's not like the prequels really had anything to do with this one.
No, yeah, of course, I know, but still.
But, well, we all went to see Star Wars. Funny enough, the trailers were all... they were a thing. I mean, I saw one... there was only one trailer that really interested me. But we didn't actually see it at the same time. We all eventually saw it. So we had two sets of trailers to work with, although they were basically the same.
You got...
The two major ones were Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice and Captain America Civil War.
Right.
They were terrible. I'm honestly...
It's funny that they have sort of the same theme.
Pretty much. The last movie we went to see that we did a vlog of was the Avengers movie. And in that we mentioned how we were kind of worried about Civil War. And now I'm even more worried. It just looks like they're just losing their touch, man. I don't know what's going to go on.
I'm not sure why they chose that storyline to put into the movie series, because they don't really have anything to set it up.
Oh god, yeah.
They
They didn't really have any setup. Like, why are Iron Man and Captain America fighting?
It seems a little arbitrary.
Not only have they always been fighting anyway, but they kind of they resolved that same problem twice. Iron Man and Captain America fight in the first Avengers movie and in the second Avengers movie, and they make up both times. So whatever. It was at least better than the Dawn of Justice trailer. The Dawn of Justice movie looks terrible.
I have more faith in the Marvel movies at this point.
Can't just have Doomsday in this movie.
Is he even really, like, it's not Doomsday. It's an even worse ninja. It's Slash. It's Slash the Michael Bay Ninja Turtle.
He does look a little bit like a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Oh man. Honestly, I don't even care about Independence Day 2, but that was another trailer, and it looked better than both Dawn of Justice and Captain America Civil War. Yeah, they had Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum on screen, and I like that.
Right.
I like Jeff Goldblum.
I think they're making a mistake with that movie, because when the original Independence Day came out, you could sell a movie just based on blowing up stuff.
Yeah.
Just blowing up landmarks.
To be fair, that's kind of how movies are still sold.
I think Independence Day pioneered that.
That's true, right. Now that's so common now, that it's like, that's not enough anymore. You can't just be blowing stuff up.
Well, then no wonder I felt about Star Wars what I felt about Star Wars.
Too much blowing stuff up.
Pretty much. I saw one trailer that I thought looked really good. It was this, like, CGI claymation, like, goleming project called Kubo and the Two Strings.
Right, I never heard of this.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
It looks like something I would really be interested in seeing, because it doesn't just look like a normal movie.
No, this is very unique.
Yeah, so that's something I'm interested in seeing. Those were basically our big trailers. I don't remember if we had any other trailers. It might have just been like 4.
There was that one for Zootopia.
Oh yeah, that was a trailer that was already out, and it looks like it'll at least that scene will be hilarious. I'm kind of worried that the movie itself will suck.
Did they just pick the one funny scene?
The one funny scene.
It's a little bit
suspicious. Yeah, I'm still not terribly engaged by this movie.
Yeah, I mean we'll have to see. We're going to see Kung Fu Panda 3, so
the entire premise is just that animals as people.
Yeah.
So what?
People are animals. No, people are more animalistic than animals.
But also,
anyway.
that's like basically every cartoon.
Yeah, how's that different from any Disney movie?
It has a different Kung Fu Panda.
I know. Yeah, no. Well, we'll see it we'll see it to be sure. But getting into the movie, the first thing I can say was that it has been a long time. Like one of my feelings about this movie was like, it worked so much better when I first saw it, you know, as A New Hope or the original trilogy, or even during the prequels. Like, it just worked better. The Star Wars concept
Yeah.
worked better.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's like, they're scrolling text, and I'm like, reading. It's too bad none of this is telling me anything. Like,
So you just want, I mean, you're just like, oh, Star Wars again.
right.
That's basically what everyone wants anyway. Everyone loves Star Wars. And
Right.
They want,
Yeah, but I can't imagine why people want to see this particular movie more than once.
Yeah.
I did.
Why?
Unlike the two of you, I did not see this movie more than once.
He's seen it once. I've seen it twice.
I was sick, but even if I wasn't sick, I still don't think I would have wanted to see this a second time.
Are you saying this movie
I'm not
made...
saying it's bad. I'm just.
Are you saying this movie made you sicker?
No, I'm just saying it wasn't good enough for
I
me to
know.
overcome being sick to watch it a second time.
Okay, it sounds like the general takeaway with here is that none of us were blown away by this movie.
No, unfortunately.
It's fine to see it once, and
Yeah.
then you can say you've seen it, and now you know what's going to happen.
Well,
so you
okay.
don't, so you're not completely lost when the next one comes
But
out.
here's the thing.
Because you're going to watch that anyway.
Right. No, here's the thing, though. I just didn't care to see it even the first time, so I read a summary.
Yeah.
Hi, Internet. I read Star Wars spoilers because I was like, is this going to be a good enough movie for me to not spoil? I read it and I was like, no. In the movie, almost beat for beat, there were a few subtle differences, but almost beat for beat, this was the original first New Hope Star Wars movie. And it was just so, like, I have not only seen this before, I will give the movie pretty good props. The acting and the choreography for the action
Yeah.
was great. Like,
Yeah.
the acting, I mean, if I had to go see this movie again, that would be the reason I could convince myself to go see the movie again. I don't know the actors' names, but the two main characters were real.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that apparently one of them was a waitress before she even auditioned to
Really?
be this character.
Okay.
Like, this was like her first acting gig. I'm
Wow.
like, I was completely
Okay,
blown away by
nice.
the character of Rey. She was a
Not bad.
really good actor.
Yeah.
The character who played the stormtrooper guy, Finn, right? He was a really good actor. Even the
Yeah.
old returning actors, except for Mark Hamill, who got exactly one shot. Oh, right. I should warn everybody. I'm not going to avoid spoilers.
There will be spoilers in this.
Yeah, we've all seen the movie, and we're going to act like you've all seen the movie too. That's
Yeah.
why we're doing this vlog. But yeah, except for Mark Hamill's one scene where he literally had no lines and just stood there.
Yeah.
Like everybody else in the movie, their acting was
awkwardly staring
I
at
know.
Rey.
with all of his mascara. I'm like, are they trying to make him look like the Joker? Like it's the space Joker, except he's a good guy.
Space Joker hobo.
I
I
know.
He looked. I thought he looked sufficiently grizzled. You know.
Yeah,
That's what I'm going for.
Speaking of acting, I wouldn't say it ruined it, but once the actor who the actor who played the Darth Vader cosplayer, Kylo Ren,
Yeah.
took off his mask, I just couldn't take him seriously anymore. Like when he had the mask on, when he threw his temper tantrums or
Right.
like lost control.
He should have taken off that helmet a lot sooner, so we know that it's not a reveal.
Yeah,
or
I
a
get,
lot later.
or not at all, and
Right.
saved it for the third movie.
Yeah.
Like we're
They were living a super non-reveal.
I know.
It is okay. Yeah, admittedly, it is one of those things where the guy's wearing a mask, so you think it's gonna be somebody.
Yeah,
And they
then
reveal little tidbits
No,
about
and then,
information
well,
about
yeah, and then
his
in like
past.
and then in like the fourth scene, it's like, oh, he's Han Solo's son. So I'm kind of like, oh well, what does Han Solo's son look like? And whiny space emo cosplayer was just not what I was expecting. I'm sorry.
Right.
Like he took the mask off in the movie, and I had discussed
Yeah.
this before with you, and I was really almost blown away by how exactly perfect. Like, it matched my description. I told you before, I asked you before, is he just a whiny space emo cosplayer? And you're
Right.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much exactly it.
Yeah.
And then he took his mask off in the movie, and I'm like, holy shit, he is a whiny space
Right.
emo cosplayer.
Again, the guy that plays him is good.
No,
I think.
he is. He seemed to be, acting. I mean,
Yeah.
they had a character for him, and he seemed to nail that character's portrayal.
I think
But
so.
that character's portrayal is whiny space emo cosplayer.
Okay.
He is literally a Darth Vader wannabe.
Oh my
Well, that's
God.
true. Okay, technically that's true.
I mean, I would say even one of the most important scenes in the movie, now that we're, fully into the discussion of the movie, is you see him portraying this very, I wouldn't say broken, but this very conflicted character, and you think they're going somewhere with that, but no, he's literally just like, he is portraying a conflicted character, but one of the reasons he's conflicted is because he wants to impress...
He wants to be more evil.
Right, no, right, he wants to be more evil. He wants to impress the disembodied head of his evil grandfather. Like,
His melted space helmet.
Right, and I'm like, why are you sitting in your room masturbating to your evil grandfather? Because this is not a thing that needs to happen. Like,
where do you get the helmet now that I think about it?
Like I said, he's a tiny space emo cosplayer. He bought it at like Space Mart. He bought it at freaking Space Mart.
Space eBay.
Space eBay. eBay in space.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, this movie was really well acted, but the problem was none of these characters were really that memorable. Like,
but for me, the problem was the whole thing was just not original enough.
Right. No, I mean, I asked Crisis over here, like, if I had to, if you had to name what you remembered about these characters, could you do it?
Well, I feel like.
And his answer initially was nope, and
Okay.
it's like, no, you can't.
I mean, I don't necessarily think they're bad characters. Just characters
They're
we've
alright.
seen. Just characters we've seen before.
Well, but that's the
Basically,
thing.
you got
They are all right, but that's the problem.
You got your
There's
Luke-
nothing to separate them from
Yeah.
every other character in the entire
You got
franchise.
your new Luke Skywalker character. You have your new Han Solo.
Right, so
character.
what distinguished them? Like, could you actually, like, give me what distinguishes them from everybody else? I
Okay,
can't.
there's one character.
It is black.
There's one.
Oh, yeah.
There's one character that I
Oh
thought
yes,
was
he's a space black guy.
original.
Well, but the thing is, we've already had Lando Calrissian. He was the space
Like
black
that's
guy
not
too.
what makes him original. The reason he's a stormtrooper who
Right.
turns against the other stormtroopers.
Right, but they didn't go anywhere with that. Like, the problem is, it really felt like setup. This
Well,
whole
yeah,
movie,
no, it
the
was.
whole movie
The movie
was
set
just
up for
set
the
up
next one.
was just to set
Right.
up the next one. And you can't make a movie like that because I don't care. If they gave me a reason to care, if instead of them getting involved in the whole space war immediately, it was literally just a movie of how Rey developed
Yeah.
from her childhood and then how she met Finn, who was developing from, or developing into an independent stormtrooper, that would have been fine. We didn't need them to go to the Resistance just yet.
Right.
Like, that should have been the halfway point or whatever. But it was like the fifth scene or whatever. It was basically, we've spent we've spent one scene on this desert planet. Time to move on
Right.
into space. And it's like,
Well, I gotta agree. I think it was an odd choice to have, having seen it twice, to have Rey's backstory be a mystery.
right.
Because
She's our protagonist.
Yeah, comparing her to Luke, whose motivations, what he
Like,
wants.
he literally laid out for,
it's
like
extremely
30
clear.
minutes.
It's extremely clear.
Yeah,
He does not want to be a moisture farmer.
for the rest of his life.
Yeah, he wants to go off and have a big adventure and do
Right.
something important. And that's very clear about
Right.
Luke from the beginning. With Rey,
She seemed fine
I don't know.
as a merchant or whatever.
she's has sort of a sucky life.
Right.
But
she didn't
it's
seem
not
to, like, wanna
clear-
leave
yeah,
it.
It's not clear that she wants to go on a big adventure. In fact, she
Yeah.
keeps talking about going home.
Right.
Which that's very strange because
Yeah.
that's the opposite of what's happening in the story.
Right.
It's the opposite of what she's doing. So
Right.
why does she want? We keep bringing back the idea that she
Right.
wants to go home.
Right.
It's not really what the movie's about.
Right. No. and I think that's kind of. I mean, I think that you're right, but I also think that they could have used that as a very important character point. You could have still kept her wanting to go home and just put her
Right.
into situations where she didn't have a choice. Here, it seemed like she had the choice to go
Right.
home. Like, just have Han Solo drop them. Like, have Han
Right.
Solo take BB-8. Yeah, Han Solo's in this movie. Whatever, spoilers. But
That's not spoiler.
just have Han Solo take BB-8 to the Resistance. That's kind of what was going to happen anyway. When she gets her lightsaber, and I'm kind of assuming that it is going to be her lightsaber
Sure.
for the series.
Sure.
Like, when she gets her
Passing the
light
torch.
right?
Very
Yeah,
clear.
no. When she gets her lightsaber, we get a very definitive oh shit, I didn't know what was going on. I don't want to do this. Like very,
Yeah.
very
I
for
like that.
certain.
I actually
You know,
like
I don't
that.
know, and I did too. It wasn't like, oh, I'm definitely now going to go on an adventure. No, she saw these horrible
Right.
images and it's like, yeah, I'm done.
That's when her character was being more consistent. I
Right.
felt like she said she wanted to go home, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I definitely want to go home."
Yeah.
Like this is not what I signed up for.
Right.
That was good. That
And
That worked, I thought.
and I mean, and you can still have her do these impressive things, you know, during these set pieces, while understanding, yeah, she definitely wants to go home. In fact, I would say she's more impressive as a character for wanting to go home through all of this
Right.
instead of, well, I want to join this massive
right.
space war.
I'm just saying, have her. If that's her character, have her be consistent. Like you
Right.
said, make it so that she has to go. She's forced to do it. She
Right.
really doesn't want to. Leave
Right.
the planet or whatever.
Right. No, and I think I mean, and it keeps with the two characterizations. I actually really liked the chemistry between her and Finn. I thought they were very similar characters, and I thought they played off each other really well. And I thought that, you know, I mean, like I said, one of the reasons I would go see the next movie, I want to see what happens to these two characters.
I just thought it was
Yeah.
weird how well they were getting along.
A little bit.
I guess. I mean, I didn't see any reason for them to dislike each
It's
other.
weird. Okay, it's weird that Finn has any social skills because he's
Right, he's
been
a
a
stormtrooper.
stormtrooper his entire life.
But that's the thing. His social skills all come from how exactly socially awkward he is. His social
Mhm.
skills
Mm.
are that he's a very honest person, and that's
Right.
all that it is. It's not like it's not like he can wheel and deal. It's just he's able to be honest with himself and with everybody else because he doesn't really have social skills.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't really. I mean, he's
He's sort of
socially,
awkward.
You know,
but
he's
that
so,
works.
you know, he's socially adept, but only because he's basically telling everyone, no, this is exactly how I feel. He's not lying to anybody. He's not saying,
Well, he is.
oh yes,
He's pretending to be in the
okay,
resistance.
but that's because I mean he gives an explanation for that, which is he wants to stay with Rey,
right.
and
Yeah,
that's
no,
why
yeah,
he said.
exactly. Yeah.
So you can, I mean, I can clearly see him getting along in society, but only because he's not bullshitting anybody. Not really. Okay, he says he's in the resistance because he figures if he tells her the truth, she's just gonna leave him behind.
Right. But you'd think a guy, I mean, if he'd been a stormtrooper so long, he'd be a little more reserved. Like he wouldn't want to tell
But
anybody.
well, yeah, I mean,
You
but
wouldn't
like I
want to
said,
share
there's the problem. Like we don't get an explanation of exactly how long
yeah,
he's been a stormtrooper.
another. Yeah, I got
Like I
you.
said, you could actually have fleshed that out. You could have shown him being disobedient before, or being uncomfortable before, and not able to say anything, to the point where it makes sense for him to desert. Like here, they say that they grew all of these people, or like conditioned all of these
Yeah.
people since birth,
So
or since
brainwashed.
or they've been
he was taken
brainwashed.
from his family.
Well,
as
yeah,
a
or he was taken from his family, and it's like, okay, I can see the new empire that has no reason to exist but does doing that, but then what's the reason that he's able to break that brainwashing in one battle and leave?
It just,
like,
yeah, I know. It just didn't take, I guess.
right? No, and that's
Maybe he wasn't very good in the first place, and that's why he was a janitor.
Right, he just never was a good stormtrooper.
right. Okay,
He's always been bad.
but see, but that deserves some explanation.
Right.
I mean, it's just there's a lot of concepts being thrown at us in this movie with no explanation. I understand a movie is supposed to be show don't tell, but
Right.
people
Tell
are
us
kind of
something.
forgetting. People are kind of forgetting you can't have a movie subsist on only action. I need to know why people
Right.
are trying to kill each other.
Right, let's see more of the back. I feel like they're saving so much of that for the second movie.
Right.
Like, we're going to learn more about the characters in the second one.
But then it's gonna be like,
They
oh well,
should
this is
never
the
assume anybody's going to see the next movie,
No.
no matter how well
Right,
this
it
was
should
done.
be its
Right.
own story.
Right, no, it should. It should be a movie that can stand on its own, and it wasn't really. Like, there was a lot of action set pieces, and I mean, they visited different planets, so I guess it's more Star Trek, the series, than the Star Trek movies were, but it's just,
Yeah.
you need that backstory, you need those explanations.
Well,
You need
okay.
characters to sit down and talk for more than 5 minutes.
It's not just the characters, though. I mean, you're talking about explaining
Right.
this, what's happened. How did things
Right.
get this way?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, and there's another point where we're going to come to eventually, anyway, why is the Empire still around?
Yeah, I don't
I mean,
understand.
you can say, oh, well, it's not the Empire, it's the First Order. Whatever the fuck they're calling
Grew
themselves.
from the ruins of the old empire.
Yeah, they
Right.
still are the organization that was there still existed. The Emperor just wasn't there to lead.
Okay, so you lose the Emperor, you lose your new Death Star, you're losing the war essentially. That's what
Right,
it looks
and
like.
but then
And then
30 but then 30
the entire army just regroups into the First Order.
Yeah, but in 30 years did they retake over the galaxy? Like that's the
That's
thing, we didn't
enough
I know.
No, but
They didn't
but
take
there's-
over the entire galaxy, I don't think.
But once again, there's no
They
explanation.
don't explain it.
Yeah, it's
They don't
just
explain it.
it's like, oh, if you hadn't, I mean, or if you don't remember what had happened at the end of the last movie, like, or you weren't paying close enough attention, you could really just say, oh, the Empire never left, because
Yeah.
that's kind of what it seems
That's-
like. Supposedly
right.
the rebellion won, and I'm like, well, then these
Right.
First Order shouldn't be so feared and
Right.
and powerful that they can literally destroy a galaxy with their Uber Death Star, the Star Killer or whatever
Right.
it was. And it's like,
Not a whole galaxy.
Right,
Just
no.
a solar system or two.
or like
Yeah.
not the solar system
You
or whatever, but
you
like,
can eat suns and you can destroy multiple planets.
but there's no explanation as to how they gathered that much
Right.
force.
Yeah, even
Like why would the rebellion who had won, which means they should be able to take
Right.
back like
they should be in control of the galaxy, and in
Right.
fact they are. I think because
the Republic
exists.
supports yeah
The Republic is back.
Republic supports the Republic supports them until their solar system gets blown out of the sky.
Well, my question is,
Like it was almost like there was more time in this movie dedicated to pressing a whole bunch of reset buttons
yeah,
than actually making a movie.
it's like well that's why it's not original because they just set everything back to the way it was in
The new
episode,
one.
episode
Retcon
4.
the movie.
Yeah, right.
Episode 4,
Yeah.
because everything's back to normal. The Empire's the big bad guy, they're taking
Right.
over everything.
Right.
And then you have the ragtag group of X-Wing pilots who are the only ones who can oppose them.
Right.
And I'm like, where's the Republic's army? Or
Right.
whatever.
I think the Resistance just operates within First Order space. And the Republic
Right, so
Army
you're
is
saying
probably
that.
somewhere further back.
You're saying there's like part of the galaxy belongs to the First Order.
But see, this is all of like this is the problem. This is once again the problem I had, or I've been having with movies since we started these vlogs. You need to explain that to
right.
us.
Why
You
are we
can't-
speculating about this?
Right.
We
Why
saw
do
the
why
movie.
do we why do we have to come up with explanation for what's going on in the movie that was already made by someone else
Right.
that we went to
We just
see?
watched it. We should know this stuff already.
Right. Exactly. Like.
I don't know.
I mean, there is so much to talk about, but it's not about the movie. It's about the technical stuff,
Right.
or the character, like some of the old characters. Like,
Right.
I mean, one of my favorite scenes, or not, I guess not one of my favorite, but one of the more well done scenes is when Han confronts Kylo Ren, and at this, while I thought it was well done, I also thought there were so many things wrong with it. And this is kind of the whole thing. It's like from a technical standpoint, everything was fine. From a realistic moviegoer experience standpoint, everything kind of was crap. Like, okay,
Wait, what was wrong with that scene? That was a great scene.
no, it was a great scene, but I thought it should have been handled way differently because it's like it just didn't make sense to me. Okay, so Han Solo, I would say pretty much knowingly goes to his death. And I didn't think Kylo was
Maybe.
going to turn good or anything,
Right.
but it was just so sudden, like, oh, you're standing here in front of me, and instead of running away, or instead of saying, like, I'll never go back to the light side or whatever, he's like, thank you for caring about me, stab, and it's like,
That
what?
That was the final test that Snoke was talking about.
I guess.
Snoke.
Yeah.
That's a terrible.
It's not great.
name.
It's not a
for
great
it.
name.
It's well, it's better than Smaug.
But a little bit. I did like. Okay, so when Kylo stabs Han again, we're doing spoilers here.
Right.
When he stabs Han with light, I love how the sun is being drained
Right.
away,
Right.
and just as the light goes
Right.
out, that's when he stabs.
Yeah.
him. I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah, no, well,
good
that's the
stuff.
thing. It's just from a technical standpoint. From an actual character
Right.
standpoint, if you try and dissect the scene, it's like, why didn't he just, like, what was the point of him stabbing Han Solo?
Right. Well, like
he
I
could have
said,
done. He
that's-
could have done anything.
Right.
And if that's I mean, that's not a test to see if you're evil or not. That's the test. That's a test to see if you're a douchebag or not. Like, so Snoke wasn't like testing him. Well, Snoke, I guess, is sitting back, going, "No, well, I know he's evil, but let's see if he can be petulant as well. Let's see if he can stab his own dad over no reason, no fucking reason
Well,
too."
no, yeah, it was no. Well, he wanted him to sever his last ties to.
There
the
was
light
so
side.
many other ways he could have done that, though. That
That's
would
a
have
pretty good
made
way.
so many much. It would, but it didn't make any sense. Like, because throughout the scene, unless he, even if he was lying, there was some truth to him wavering. Because we saw it throughout the movie that he wasn't exactly sure.
Right.
So unless he was already completely evil and was just lying the entire movie, then there is no reason to be like, Hi, Dad. Stab. It's like, no. He could have run away. He could have rejected his offer. He
Right.
could have. He could have even swung at Han Solo and maybe like hurt him really badly. Like the act of killing him was just so unnecessary. And I know Harrison Ford wanted his character to die.
I mean, I don't think
understand-
he wants to be in the movies anymore.
Right, no, and I
really.
understand that's kind of why it happened. But just from a character standpoint, you have this character who goes through the scene saying, "Oh yeah, I am very conflicted," and
Yeah.
then he just kills Han Solo, and it's like, well,
right.
wait, were you really that conflicted, or were you just
Right. Well,
like,
it's-
what's the point of that scene?
That's him. That's how he resolves the conflict.
It's not a very good resolution,
Well,
even for the
he's became
character.
evil. He's
Well, no,
evil.
but even then, it's kind of like, okay, I get that he's evil, but this is just, like I said, it's just childish. It's a very childish evil. Like, the
Right, and we
finality,
see him-
the finality of that scene, it's like, it's not a rejection of good. It's not even a very complex, like, oh,
No.
you know, I don't want to be near you anymore because you make me weaker or whatever. It's like, it's almost as if, and I guess this is where they were coming from, it's almost as if he's blaming Han for keeping him on the good side. So he has to
Yeah.
kill Han,
Right.
otherwise he could never be truly evil.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, from a logical standpoint. Maybe from, and of course he's crazy. We see that he's crazy through the movie. So I guess if you're crazy, you might think that. But as a normal person, I'm like, wait, he should at least understand even a little bit that, like, Han is not the sole reason for... I mean, Han didn't go to the Jedi Order and was like, hey, you should kill all the younglings. Like, no. Like, Han is not the one turning you evil.
No,
Like-
right? No, yeah. It's,
Like, it would have even made more sense if he abandoned the new Death Star and just went to Snoke and said, please purge the good from me. Like,
yeah, but this is
here
more
it's...
dramatic. This is a little.
Well,
this is
I
more
don't even-
confrontational.
Yeah, it's just... But it almost... I mean, that's...
I
I mean, I guess, yeah. No, I think you're right. It's just, it makes it hard for me to consider where they're gonna go with the character, because this is like, well, instead of making the character, you know, more three-dimensional like originally Darth Vader was, you know, where the possibility is he could go back to the good side, and in fact he does, and that's what, you know, saves the rebellion
Sure.
or whatever. Here it's basically like, oh well, they're gonna kill him. They're gonna kill him by the third movie
I
because
guess-
there's no reason to let him live.
Right. Well, I guess I don't know.
I mean,
I
I
do more with him.
Well, I mean, I certainly don't. Well, but that's the thing. I don't want them to. I don't care about his character. Like when he killed Han Solo, it was like
Right.
there is no reason for you to do
They're
that.
redeemable.
Yeah, like,
Right.
it's like there is no reason
Well,
for you to do that.
that's
So
the
yeah, I
difference.
don't see how
Probably.
any of the protagonists could
Right.
ever forgive you, because from their perspective, it's just Han Solo's reaching out to him saying, "Come back with me," and then instead of just running away, he's like, "No, I have to, you know, purposely kill you." Instead of just rejecting your offer. The protagonists are watching, Han Solo's there, kind of like, you know, the Messiah figure, like, hey, come back to me, I forgive you, no matter what, I always love you, blah, 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 and then he's like, yeah, I understand that. I'm like, what the fuck?
The idea that Han is the Obi-Wan of this movie. Because every scene, every element from The Force Awakens
Right.
is borrowed from an
Right. Right, no,
And
I
here,
know.
there.
No, they go to a cantina, they start on a desert planet, like,
They go. Yes, they do go to the.
The droid,
they do go to
the
cantina.
droid has the information.
They put the secret plans into the droid to send them away so they
Right.
don't get captured.
Yeah, one of the good guys gets captured, and they have to go rescue them on the Death Star.
Find the droid in the desert.
Right.
They have to go.
And the protagonist is just just barely begins to discover their force powers. It was plot point for plot point, the exact same as A New
They
Hope.
even had another Death Star, but this one is bigger.
Yeah, and eats stars. Like there's I wasn't arguing, but I was debating the potential use of this Death Star. It's more destructive to charge
Yeah.
the Death Star
Yeah.
than it is to fire it.
You don't
And
have
I
to
remember
fire it.
you and I discussing it, and it's like you could just charge up
Just
the Death Star,
charge it.
not even fire it. Just keep charging
Yeah.
it with suns, and you're
Right.
killing everybody.
Wipe
Like-
out.
Well, it's gotta output that energy somehow. You can't just drain it.
But that's the thing. So it's killing an entire solar system versus a few planetoids. Because when it fires, it destroys like 4 or 5 planets at once. But it's like,
Yeah,
but
I
it
guess.
charged
I'm not
and
even sure about that. I'd say that those were moons. That was a planet and a couple of moons or whatever.
okay, well, whatever.
But whatever.
But whatever it was, the output was not as much as the input.
Yeah, destroying a sun, that would take out all life in that vicinity.
Right.
That doesn't matter. You don't need to destroy the planets after that.
Right, and
That's why you
my-
destroy the planets first.
but it doesn't. It doesn't. It charges up the sun
I
first.
don't understand it.
Yeah.
Doesn't
no.
matter now though. It's been blown up. So
Right, and that's and I cracked up, and maybe the other moviegoers were mad at me, but I was cracking up when it
you were
did.
cracking up a lot.
I was.
when you were watching that.
It was just so stupid. But yeah, it poops out a sun. Like when it blows up,
That's
it
true.
turns into a
That's
new
true.
sun.
That's true. It leaves the sun behind.
And I'm like, what the
Like
fuck?
how?
That's what
What's-
space explosions look like. They look like suns.
yeah, but then it doesn't.
It just-
doesn't dissipate.
Yeah, no,
The
it
sun
sits
is
there.
there.
It is a sun.
The
It
sun
just,
stays there.
yeah.
And the question is, wait, how big is this one?
Yeah, I
Is
know.
it smaller? The sun that's smaller than a planet? How does that work?
Well, it's
I don't know.
already condensed within the
Oh, yeah, it's
planets.
a condensed sun, so they've miniaturized it.
There is so much wrong with this movie.
Anyway.
Like, God.
Does this mean in episode 9
I
that
wanna-
they're
I'm-
building it again?
I hope.
This one's
no,
gonna eat
wait,
galaxies.
no, but they'll wait till 10. Remember, it was Death. If they're copying the old Star Wars, which they are, it's the first Death Star was in the first movie.
Right.
The second Death Star was
Right.
in the third movie.
Yeah, that would be 9. Because this is 7, 8, 9.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's 7, 8,
So that
9.
would be
You're
9.
right. No, so it'd be 9.
10 is the mystery sequel.
That's just like The Empire Strikes Back.
I hope.
I mean, she's already at the Dagobah system, pretty much.
Right.
Oh, you mean for the next one?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No.
And Luke's the new Yoda.
Oh God.
Han is Obi-Wan, Luke is Yoda.
And what's Princess Leia? Mace Windu.
She's Mace Windu.
Oh, okay. So, all right. No,
She's
no.
actually
Bringing.
strangely, she's
No, she's grand.
Akbar. Akbar. She's Admiral Akbar.
Oh God. That's a trap.
Strangely, although he is in it too.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
Was that actually
Well,
Admiral Akbar? Was
Yeah,
he
I'm
credited?
pretty sure he's
Okay.
supposed to be.
In the
Akbar.
credits, it says that he's Admiral Akbar.
That's
Oh.
right.
So he's just been. It's the same guy. He's just still alive.
Okay.
He didn't get blown up.
Ah. No, because
Because he knew it was a
the
trap.
resistance survived. What are they resist? Like that's just so. It's just so like asinine to have this
That's what I'm
this
saying.
movie and the characters be in the position than they are.
Why is there a resistance?
I have more
instead
complaints,
of an
obviously.
actual army?
I was really, I fully support everything Carrie Fisher has said to her haters on Twitter and on Facebook and all that crap because she's gotten so much
I think I might
flack.
have seen that. Yeah.
She's gotten so much flack for nothing that was her fault, and everyone's like,
like
oh,
what?
well, like people are saying like, oh,
I think she gained weight for the role.
no, she lost weight for the role.
No, they
Even-
made her lose weight.
they made her
Oh.
lose weight for the role, and then and then some people on Twitter had the audacity to comment on how much she's aged, and it's like,
It's like no
oh,
shit.
it's like no, exactly, it's like, oh, excuse
Oh,
me,
as time passed.
yeah, I know,
Sorry.
right? No, and this is just it's so stupid. It's like,
Chewbacca hasn't aged.
oh yes, the guy they dressed up in a suit that hasn't
Chewbacca
aged. No
Chewbacca
shit.
Still looks pretty good. That's
Oh
true.
God, yeah, no, it just.
And he was in the prequel.
All right.
Well, what?
Fair enough.
It's like, well, they have makeup. They could could have made you not. It's like, but who cares?
Whatever.
I mean, it's the story. It's supposed to have
Jesus,
tied
look at Han. I mean,
Right.
come on. They're all.
Yeah, no shit.
It's a good thing they made this movie before they all died.
Yeah, right.
mean,
I don't know. Like I said,
Years.
I have Carrie Fisher as my full support. Fuck the haters for
Yeah.
anything they say.
No,
This was
she's great.
bullshit. And fuck the movie industry for making her lose weight for a role where
Yeah.
she stood around
Just
and
everyone's
gave
sorry.
orders.
Right.
Like,
She's a general. What does she need to lose weight for? What?
No.
Just put on a big coat. Just
Like,
start
no,
bossing
like,
people
no,
around.
like, how come?
She's
how
not gonna
come-
be in a chainmail
no,
bikini
instead
in
of,
this
you know,
one.
and like instead of making Carrie Fisher lose weight for this role, why didn't they put that money into, I don't know, explaining anything? Like, what the actual okay, we still get only one black person, because Lando isn't around, so there's still only one black person in the entirety of our Star Wars
I'm
universe.
Sure there's another one in the background.
Oh,
somewhere.
right,
I
okay,
didn't see him.
because I was paying
I
attention
didn't
to that.
see him, but I'm sure there was.
He was wearing. He was also a stormtrooper.
Yeah, right,
maybe.
exactly. He was always
You never know.
He was whitewashed. But,
There
like,
could be
um,
a lot of black stormtroopers.
they also missed a golden opportunity. I mean, I questioned during the movie. They supposedly the stormtrooper captain in the black stormtrooper armor was female, and I'm
Right,
like, but
chrome.
it could just be a
A
robot.
chrome stormtrooper.
Whatever. It could just be a robot
Could be a
boy.
robot
That
with
could
a
be
female
fucking
voice.
Siri. Like that doesn't
Right.
necessarily like you could have had her take off her helmet as well.
Mhm.
That would
I'd
have
like
been
to see her without her helmet.
Yeah, so have I. I'm not sure whether
I felt
Like-
weird that she never took off that armor.
yeah, I know.
like
That was weird. But she's probably still alive, so we probably see her again.
Yeah, she probably got out of that trash compactor.
Yeah,
I
right.
imagine.
that was a nice little callback. Han still held a grudge. Han is still bitter that he got thrown into a trash compactor. It's like anyone who's working for the pseudo new empire, I'm going to throw them into the trash
There you
compactor.
go.
Like,
That was good.
but
A lot
there's
of good references and
Yeah,
callbacks and things.
yeah, no, I actually
The
really
entire
did.
movie was a call.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, pretty-
One of the things I liked, even though it did, I understand this is a way
It's
to
like
make
the one thing they didn't do for the first movie was get stuck in a trash compactor.
Oh, right.
Well, it was off camera.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they shoved someone in there, but
Yeah.
anyway, I actually personally liked one of the background touches. On Jakku, you could see all of the destruction that I'm assuming is from the final battle between the Empire and the Rebellion. You could
Right.
see these wrecked Star Destroyers or
very
TIE
cool.
fighters or whatever.
Very cool.
Like,
The
Oh,
bunker
there
that Ren was living in.
yeah, on another technical standpoint, I don't
Right,
think I actually
right.
mentioned this to you, but I did mention to Marcus. I like that all of the individual fighters now have light speed travel because they
Oh,
did.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think they did.
The X-Wings
I mean,
can jump into...
you-
I
Audience-
thought they could do that in Empire Strikes Back. Because
I don't think they
See,
could.
I wasn't sure.
Well, I mean, this is one of the.
Luke Skywalker could travel all the way from Hoth Dagobah in his.
But it wasn't shown on. It wasn't shown on screen.
Mm.
And during
Sure.
and during the last battle in Return of the Jedi, I'm pretty sure they had to launch from the ships. Like I said, I'm
Jedi
not
is
100. I'm not
yeah.
100% on this. This is one of the reasons we should go back and watch the old movies.
Yeah.
But it impressed me that they had it at least on screen in this
I
movie.
mean, you like to
Be-
see technology
I like
or
to see
whatever.
technology advance because supposedly time has passed.
I suppose.
Although one of the things I didn't like about quote unquote technology in this was that Kylo Ren's personal spaceship looked like shit.
I know, you didn't like his
It was a
spaceship.
flying like you,
Yeah.
like a flying,
Right.
not even like
Well,
regular
they had
you.
that in.
No, it had a horn on top, and that
I
was.
said this looks just like every other ship you see in Star Wars.
No, it
What's
doesn't.
different?
It's just
That,
this flying
exact
thing.
same ship design was in Return of the Jedi.
No, it wasn't.
It was. They
No.
fly to Endor in one of those ships.
No. It had a horn on
It
top.
had 3 fins.
Yeah, it had
That's
3
it.
fins instead of 2.
That's the difference.
Yes. And it looked better because of it.
Whatever. Whatever. Speaking of new designs, though, what do you guys think of Kylo Ren's lightsaber? After having seen the movie. What do you think?
I honestly, it still didn't have
He's
a
still
point.
overcompensated.
Yeah, no,
See,
we're
you can tell he's overcompensated.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and there's the thing, like, okay, it showed that it had a quote unquote, and like I said, quote unquote. I'm heavily stressing the potential it had to be a good idea, but it still wasn't. It's like, okay, I stabbed you with my little outtake
Right.
thingy, but he
Right.
could have just as easily pulled back and then stabbed him anyway, or
Yeah,
like
Pulled
just
out a
press-
smaller lightsaber.
Right, exactly.
It's like a mini
Like
lightsaber.
yeah, I know.
That's a not bad idea.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Or like dual wielded, or
right.
done anything
I
else.
mean, the idea that there's
They were-
supposed to
they-
be
they-
some practical justification for this, I think is kind of ridiculous.
Right.
It is just to look cool, I think.
Yeah.
That's why they designed it that way.
Right, but
And to be distinct.
right, yeah, except that it doesn't make much sense. It
I
like
haven't seen the movie, though. I have a slightly different take on it than in the trailer.
uh-huh.
Because we could see...
No, in the
that-
trailer, I think the blades were longer, and it did look like he was holding like 3 lightsabers at once or whatever, instead of just like these little, it was like flame. It wasn't even like
That's the
it
thing,
wasn't even
yeah,
a blade.
In the movie, his lightsaber is very unique because it has this energy that's like pouring out. Like,
Yeah.
it looks like fire.
Yeah, it
on
looks
Yeah.
unstable.
yeah,
it looks like, which is why I have a theory that the little extra bits on the
the,
side.
like exhaust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like excess energy.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So it doesn't overload. Or
Well,
whatever.
but see, and here's the thing. Once again, no explanation for any of it.
Well, it's just the design. I mean, do you really need to explain that?
I would like to see some sort of explanation for why he absolutely needs these things on the side.
Yeah, maybe.
Because so far-
Right.
So far, I mean, even in the prequels, which everybody hates, it's like, okay, so they were flipping around because they do have just straight laser blades. Like, that at least makes sense.
Yeah.
Or they were throwing their lightsabers because they can cut through anything. However, on the flip side, there was one thing that I think everybody liked, that I liked as well, that we hadn't talked about yet, and that was the one scene that I think everybody will agree is just like the most badass scene ever. And that's when he stops the laser
Oh, and
from
Kylo
hitting
Ren-
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he just freezes the laser
In
in
midair.
midair.
For like the duration of the scene,
Yeah.
it's hanging there.
Yeah.
In the back. I thought they was gonna hit Poe with that thing.
Yeah, no.
They're gonna pull him out in
Yeah.
front of it, and then he's gonna let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he needed information from him, so that would have been pretty
Yeah, get
dumb.
information from him, then let him be hit by his own blast.
That would have been cool.
And even-
I'm gonna, but it did go a long way to show exactly how powerful he was.
Yeah.
Although I think it was almost too controlled for him, because later we see him throwing these temper tantrums, and I'm like, wait, is a guy who's that psychotic really going to
Right.
be able to control this
Maybe
laser
not.
blast for the duration? But
Yeah.
regardless of what, it was an impressive visual effect scene. Like, I thought, it's like, okay, well, if you can show me more like that, I would assume, I would grant that the special effects budget was well spent. But it wasn't really, because that was the only scene that we got something that awesome.
I like seeing him though, like flip out
Yeah.
and destroy stuff.
No,
Because
I
that's
mean,
it.
one of the best, and it lent itself to, might be a complaint from other people, but here's something that I was impressed by the movie with, was the amount of realistic humor that was injected
Yeah.
into the movie.
It was very
Because
funny,
you
yeah.
can't just be serious all the time.
I
If
really
you were
like
serious all the time in a situation like this, you'd probably just stab yourself with a lightsaber.
Right.
But the fact that there were these characters attempting to ignore the horrible shit that was going on around them by making
Some levity.
some jokes,
Yeah.
like, I really liked that. I really liked the fact that it wasn't just like, we have to defeat the Empire. It was like, why don't we put her in the trash compactor?
I
You
agree
know?
that the humor really worked in this. I thought,
No, I really did like that, and one of the most humorous scenes I found was when he does flip out after some Empire guy gives him bad news, and then after he's done flipping out, he says, "Anything else?"
right. Like the console's like
Is there-
melting. in
yeah, it's
front of him.
Is there anything else?
and the guy's like,
no, we're good.
not much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like when Rey escapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Kylo
then
checks out her. And
Yeah.
he's like flipping out there. Those stormtroopers
Yeah.
like come around.
Oh yeah, that was another.
They see that the sparks just erupting from
Right.
the door,
And then
go,
turn around and go the other way. No, that was, like I said, there was a lot of good humor in this.
And Finn, a very funny character,
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought. But what's funny about him, what I liked about him, was that he doesn't seem like he belongs in Star Wars.
Well, no,
like,
no,
he kind of
yeah.
seems like he's a
Yeah.
person from our world.
Right.
Just a real guy.
Right.
Who somehow ended up in the Star Wars
Well, no, and I
universe.
like that. I really did.
I like it
That's-
too.
from what I understand,
Mhm.
Han Solo is sort of that character in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And Jar Jar was supposed to be that character in Phantom Menace.
No, Jar Jar.
Probably
No,
right.
according to the internet, Jar Jar was the evil overlord who planned the entire.
I really like that theory.
I think that theory is absolutely stupid.
That's why I like it.
Okay, it's like
You're hoping Jar Jar would come back and
It makes sense.
You'd be
The video I
so-
saw, it really makes sense, but
But
it's
why-
also still very stupid.
well, but okay, well, even
It's
if it,
like two going for it, I think.
I guess, but even if it does make sense, here's my problem with it. Jar Jar is now dead. What are they gonna do with that? It's been like 200 years.
Gungans are very long lived.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
I can from what I hear, at the end of Return of the Jedi, you can hear Jar Jar saying, "We so free!" during the celebration.
No,
Oh my god.
I don't believe
At
you.
least he's not a force ghost at the end.
I really don't believe you.
Oh,
I do
man.
not believe you.
That
But
is
anyway,
terrible.
that's not even relevant to this movie.
That's terrible. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like
Forget
I
that. Forget that.
But yeah, no, just
Oh,
this
boy.
movie was like, I knew this movie was gonna be exactly what I mean. I knew this movie was gonna be exactly the way it did turn out.
You got what you expected.
I got what I expected, and that's one of the reasons that, like, when everybody decided, oh, it's like literally Star Wars Day, I'm going to abandon my whole life just to see
Right.
Star Wars, and the whole planet did
Yeah.
this, and I'm like,
It's huge.
why the fuck is everybody doing this? It's not gonna be that impressive. Like, and the fact, like, this glowing praise, unanimously across the internet for this movie, and I'm like, this is the
Yeah.
problem with hype. You just look dumber for hyping up this movie so much, because when I go to see it, I judge it, I'd say realistically. And realistically, this movie was okay,
Yeah.
and it's not like unwatchable, but there is no reason I absolutely have to go see
Thought it
this.
was overhyped.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
way
I can
overhyped.
it's a cultural phenomenon. I can understand everyone wanting to go see it at
Sure.
least once.
Sure.
But as I said, I can't imagine why anyone would want to see it more than
Yeah. I
once.
see this one being
Yeah.
rewatchable.
I don't even understand why people aren't more disappointed by this movie.
I am. I was.
Okay.
Like, and there's the thing. Like, I can rewatch the prequels to get exactly how bad they were. I can't even rewatch this because it's not bad. It's just not that good.
I had fun, and I did see it more. I saw it twice.
Yeah,
I
and you were
enjoyed
the one
it.
that-
I enjoyed it the second time.
Well, that's why you're the odd man out on this couch.
I guess so.